Hi there, how's it going? Gunnar here. I'm back. I always say the same thing, so I, I, I have to think of a new line to introduce these blog vlogs, my updates on in front of the camera, the live updates. Anyway, so this is the first one I'm doing, like midday sort of thing. I've been out birding today. This is the first one I'm doing in several days. And yeah, so I just came back from some birding, and I'm doing these short guiding people in the parks. Uh, Total newbies. It's a lot of fun. They have not been birding before, uh, and or at least very little, and to show people birds in their name in their vicinity is very rewarding. But today I had the new bird for my Peru list. It's an introduced bird in Lima that I've looked for, but haven't really looked that hard for. But today was the intent of actually seeing one, and it's the red-crested cardinal. It's a cage bird that has been introduced into Lima and now um is possible to see at various locations. So it's also some probably 20 years ago since we had the first ones recorded. So now it's actually counted as an official bird on the Peru list. The population is not large by any means. It's not like Hawaii, where it's a very common bird. And so there may be some, I don't know, 5, 6 locations in Lima where you can see them. And we only saw one individual today. So uh, yeah, it's a little bit of a tart tick, really. But anyway, the new bird for the Peru list, it's countable, and it was nice to see it finally in Peru. We'll see a live one. I'll be posting some pictures later here when I've been going through them. Tomorrow we're going to another park where it's also been seen, so see whether I can find it there also. Maybe this is a little bit of a census of red crested cardinal in Peru. Having said that, though, I've been to this area where we saw it today. I've been there. This was the third time in about a week that I've been looking for it. I went out actually on my runs and stayed around in the park for 15, 20 minutes and walked around. Never saw one. But today it was on the ground and it was feeding together with saffron finches and others. I also had a few new birds for my quarantine list, as I was able to see the Pacific Ocean with binoculars. I had not been seeing Peruvian booby before, so that was a new one, an addition. Other good birds that we saw today that are also unusual in Lima are the turkey vulture that we don't see that often in urban Lima. They like to keep to the coast. So one individual of that was, it's not remarkable, but it's still a good record for being within sort of urban Lima. You see it when you go closer to the coast and on the beaches and so forth. And the other one was a Group Bildani, a group of Group Bildanis. D is asking me where the red-crested cardinal is normally native. It's in Bolivia, nearest to us, and it's a bird of the Chaco and the savannas. And you also find it in Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. That is the native distribution of the red-crested cardinal. But it is a cage bird that is introduced in several places. So if you look in, when I tried to get a picture to post before my meeting today, I didn't have any pictures obviously of this bird at hand, so I took a picture from Wikimedia, and that one is actually photographed in Hawaii. So there you go, but it's not native to Hawaii, right? Okay, so that's that about that. I will continue doing these daily excursions for newbies, and hopefully that way we'll get a little group together once we are able to traveling around. Now Lima is opening up more and more, and today was the first day that the shopping malls have opened. They have opened at 50% capacity, They will take your temperature as you walk in. They will spray your hands, etc. And as I said, they will keep the capacity at max 50%. You will have to line up with the social distancing, etc., that we've been seeing at the banks and so forth. Yesterday, I did my nightly broadcast on the Colibri Expeditions channel. You can go and check that. I also posted a link just now. I just posted a video actually right now on this same my own profile, so you can check it there as well. And I talked a little bit how the COVID-19 now is pretty serious in Peru when you're looking at numbers. Because we are now number 7 in the world, and we will pass Spain probably today or tomorrow, and so like number 6 in the world in number of cases, and that is terrifying when you look at the numbers. And there's a lot of people that have died, probably more than actually the official numbers. But it's also, I should underline this, it's very regional, right? So here in Miraflores, where I live, people are behaving very well. They do have respect for the virus, and they're keeping the distance, and they don't go out more than necessary, etc., etc. So that's why they can open up the shopping malls here. Otherwise, it would sound like this is absolutely crazy. How can you do that when you're number 6 in the world? And the most cases we are getting is in the poorer areas, the satellites around Lima, those areas where people concentrate in very small areas. They've sort of checked where the sources are for contamination. It's at the markets, especially the big markets of where they stock up, where sort of all the central fruit market from where all the fruit and vegetables from Peru come into one central place in Lima. They tested people there, and they were like 85% of them tested positive to either have had the COVID-19 or were already in the process. So they've done like certain measurements there, certain measures in those areas, just to try to control the spread of the disease from these areas where people meet up in a very small place. So the markets are getting more and more regulated, but they've been the core of the spreading of the disease. People that are poor will just go on a daily basis and just buy for the day. They have no possibilities to stock up on things. There are no refrigerators. So they need to buy the food fresh on a daily rate, and that means that there's a lot of more in those areas where the people of less resources, where they go shopping usually at the markets where prices are lower. They will have a big risk of getting contaminated there, right? So this is a quite serious problems, and you will see that also in other areas in Peru. The north, for instance, is they will not open any shopping malls in Trujillo, Chiclayo, Piura, Tumbes. All the shopping malls, I guess, in the rainforest like Tarapoto, Iquitos, and Puerto Maldonado will not open either. So because there is much more people infected, and very, very much so still, So the country is opening up little by little. As I was mentioning yesterday, internal flights will fly from July 1st. At what capacity is not quite clear yet. I don't know what they were talking about, if they're going to fly, with just 50% capacity. But I find that kind of hard to. Well, maybe it'll be that way anyway, just because they don't have enough people. But it will certainly be hard to keep prices at a reasonable level if they will have to fly at 50% capacity. Not sure how they've been dealing with this in other countries where they have been starting internal flights already, if there are such regulations. The good thing with flights, of course, is that you can trace back. So if someone sort of detects positive, you can actually check who has been sitting next to them. So it's easier to make that back tracing. All right, that's about that, the COVID-19. Yesterday I was mentioning also a lot about the guide, how guiding, birding guides, how this is trying to get regulated in Peru. And it's not something that we really want to see, but there is a general decree for official tour guides, and that was passed already like in 2005, I think. And there was an addenda to that now that is very, very much discussed. And in this addenda, they will actually regulate who is able to guide birders. Now, if you're interested in all that discussion, please go back and listen to my big, long discussion yesterday. About this that I just posted here now also on this channel, right? I'm mentioning also an association that they started in Cusco with the official tour guides that are also bird guides, or the other way around, bird guides that are also official tour guides that have the 3 years of training, academic training. They are not including sort of empiric guides or guides that have been sort of regional guides in their association. We're sort of, I was called up by Jose Luis Avendaño just an hour ago, and he was saying that, yeah, well, you're like an honorary member of the association, so very much thanks for that. However, I think there is a need for forming a more global association for the people that are involved with birding tourism, the avitourism sector. Now we have like an ecotourism guild that Colibri Expeditions as a company is member of, and several of the other bird tour operators as well. And that is called APTAI. And now there's also the official bird, or rather the bird guides that are also have the title of official bird guides. They have also an association. But I think there is like an opening there for a new type of guild also that deals with everyone that is involved in the birding tourism sector, and that could include both companies and guides and local guides, and even guides that work at different lodges, etc., and entrepreneurs that have been starting feeders here and there. All these people should be organized together, and so we are a few people now that are trying to see whether we can put that sort of association together, and it, basically also to look out for our rights. I've been in the country for 22 years, and all of a sudden I would see myself not being able to guide just because of some bureaucratic nonsense. That is very unfortunate if it comes to that. And I think it also will basically hinder the development of the birding tourism sector, especially now if it's open up more towards bird photography and more self-reliable setups that are not doesn't even need to have a guide 24/7 as well, so to force that upon the visitors will not help the segment per se. If we want this thing to grow, which in the long run is a good thing because it actually spreads out tourism to other areas, not only centered around Cusco and the archaeological highlights of the country, but rather spread all over the country, then it certainly doesn't need more regulation, rather the other way around. We need it to become easier for people to actually exercise what they know in the field and make it so much easier for everyone to spread the word, and we get more places that we can actually go and birdwatch at. Now, some of these people that become empirically birding guides in the local places, obviously they can start studying to become official tour guides, and then they will have more opportunities for work all over the country. So that I think that is a good thing in the end, but it shouldn't be the other way around. It should actually start that birders become official tour guides, then official tour guides then become birders, and have more rights as guiding birders than anyone that has actually have the experience for decades, like myself. All right, so that's that about that, and yeah, I'll be back tonight, maybe for another update on the Colibri Expeditions Facebook page. It's broadcasting live again. I'll see you then. And you can also check out the YouTube channel, Colibri Expeditions YouTube channel, to check the backlog. It'll be, there's a playlist there that has these updates on a chronological order, so you can go back and check that. And finally, again, I'm going to continue doing these updates, even though maybe I don't have that many people actually checking these out. But just if you find any value in these and the other stuff that I've been doing, my webinars and the singing I've been doing and the blogging, please consider checking out my Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Gunnar Engblom, and see if you can support in any way you can. There are no birding tours right now. Have a good day, everyone, and see you later. Bye.